Good morning. I'm Barbara Lapointe on behalf of Clipston Publishing, and we are here for another author conversation to celebrate a very special day with one of our very special authors, Tim Coates. He's launching his book. Good morning, Tim.
Yay, finally here. It's a great.
You are launching your book, and we are here to celebrate that launch and share that launch with the world. Congratulations, Tim. I really know that writing a book is not an easy accomplishment. In fact, your book is it's very inspiring. What was the goal with your book? I'm curious to know.
Well, I've thought about this book for many years, probably a decade. And the reason I wanted to write it is that it's not a memoir, but it came out of the story of my life. And the story of my life is a difficult one, at least initially, with the birth of a severely disabled son. And through the learnings of, how to be happy and how to find joy despite, some very difficult circumstances, that's something that everybody can use. And people's circumstances are different. Maybe it's a job issue, a boss issue, a partner issue, or a death or something like that. And so my whole purpose in writing this book is that I use the things I write about in this book daily at the present, and they've helped me immeasurably. And I want to extend that help to others.
That's a great, great goal. And I think that is why the entire team at Clipston Publishing is so excited about your book as we've been building momentum for your launch. I'm going to ask you to tell us about your son's birth. And coincidentally, it's your birthday today. So happy birthday, Tim.
Yeah, we have a good portion of our family is born within a 2-week period. So we're going into that 2-week period starting today. So there's a lot of activity in the household today and for the next 2 weeks.
Tim, I love it. I hope you have a happy birthday and the very, very best launch.
Thank you. Well, Barbara, would a good way to do this be for me to kind of explain the situation and then read a very short passage of the book, or how would you like to do this?
I think that would be really beautiful. I was thinking, because it's when our child is born, it's such a defining moment. It's a moment that we never forget. But it was particularly defining for you and your family. And it provides a context for your journey and the context for your book. It's kind of the root of your story. So I'd love to create space where you can read for our audience a little bit from a part of your book that's written in 3 distinct sections. And if it resonates with the audience out there, I encourage listeners to make some comments, because we're going to be monitoring the feed and when this comes out live on YouTube. So yeah, make some comments. Let us know what you think. Maybe you've gone through a similar experience as Tim, or maybe you're going through a hard time right now. So Tim, I'm going to open up this space for you to do exactly that. I'm curious to hear what you're going to read.
Oh, great. Well, first of all, to set the stage, my wife and I, my new wife at the time, and I were living what we felt at the time was a charmed life. We had grown up in St. Louis and both, got our college degrees and found jobs in Minneapolis. And for those that do not know, Minneapolis is in Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes. And in fact, within our city limits, there's a couple dozen lakes. And we were sitting by a lake one night in the warm summer breeze wafting through the windows. And if you live in a northern climate, warm southern breezes or summer breezes aren't to be taken for granted. And we were fully enjoying it, just saying to ourselves, wow, how lucky are we? Well, little did we know at that time we were expecting our first child. And we found out, obviously, very shortly after that evening. And, there's a lot of trepidation. You're preparing the rooms and nurseries and trying to figure out, what's our life going to be now. We'd been married for about 4 years, and all of a sudden, our family was going to go from 2 to 3. And so what I wanted to do here is just read the section of the book. And it's a bit of a hard section. In fact, it's a very hard section. But what I want to emphasize as I share this is that while the event of our son's birth was a very, very difficult one, I would call it one of the most valuable experiences of my life in hindsight, because it taught me things that I'm certain I would have not experienced or learned had our son not been born. So let me just jump in here with that. One more item. My wife, this was back in the natural era, not that we are not in a natural area now, but she had decided to use a nurse midwife, was adamant that no drugs be used during the birth, and her labor was something like 35 hours. So the part I'm going to start with is with the birth of our son, but what preceded that was a pretty intense period and a pretty a long labor for my wife and for a nervous husband that was present. Our first child, Daniel, was born at 3:30 a.m. on Easter morning. I was nervous during the delivery, but upon seeing my new son and quickly counting fingers and toes, I was relieved. We were all good. But things were not as they appeared. As Daniel made his entrance into the world, the nurse midwife caught her colleague's eye, quietly remarking, "Did you see that?" Her solemn colleague nodded. "See what?" I wondered. He was perfect. Well, except for that, what looked like a rug burn on his lower back. Suddenly, things got very busy. Medical personnel rushed in, and I was escorted out of the room. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. Was this normal? I was taken to a small, windowless conference room. After what seemed like a very long time, a doctor entered, closed the door behind him, and sat down on a stool facing me. "Your son has spina bifida, and we are taking him to surgery." Those were his very first words, and he was not smiling. "Spina bifida? What does that mean?" I asked. "It's a serious spinal cord defect," the doctor said. "We haven't got time to discuss it now, but this pamphlet should answer some of your questions." He handed me a pamphlet and rushed out of the room. On its cover were pictures of young children, some with crutches and metal leg braces, and others sitting in wheelchairs. I couldn't breathe. In bold letters on the cover of the pamphlet were the words, "Love conquers spinal bifida." What the hell does that mean? I thought. These kids are in leg braces and wheelchairs. How's love going to fix that? Was my son going to be in a wheelchair? In the blink of an eye, my life changed. My hopes, my dreams, our family's future. No amount of goal setting, planning, discipline, or hard work could change this. For the first time in my life, I felt utterly crushed, defeated, and helpless, like being thrown from a ship of our dreams into an icy sea.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Tim.
Yeah, that was obviously that was a very, very hard time. And following that time, our son is still with us. He'll soon be 44. But, he's had probably in the first 16 years of his life, he had maybe 100 surgeries, several of them, many of them life-threatening. And so our life has been, and his life especially, has been a difficult one, but it's taught us so much.
Tim, what's your son's name?
Daniel.
Daniel. Okay. Well, we're acknowledging Daniel right now in this moment. Thank you for sharing that. I just want to also say that it's been such a privilege to go through this journey with you, just in a small way, because we've done a series of interviews together that have been very rewarding. Those interviews are going to be coming out on your YouTube channel. And although, I just want to let people know that your story is like a catalyst for all of the healing practices that you share in your book. So we start to dip into those on your YouTube videos that are coming out on your YouTube channel. Can you tell us about your YouTube channel that you're debuting in harmony, in alignment with this book launch, all around this event that launched a 40-decade-year learning spiritual journey for you?
Sure. Well, what I'm doing is I just put up a new YouTube channel. It is currently not populated, but what I'm going to do in the next 3 weeks is populate that YouTube channel with videos one each covering the three sections of my books. So the first video will show up a week from tomorrow, April, whatever that is, probably 5th, I guess, Easter morning, as oddly as it may be, that since my son was born on Easter morning. And then there'll be videos populating that channel in the succeeding 2 weeks after that. So it's a quick way to really get an idea of what the three sections of the book are like. And what I want to emphasize here is, again, this book is not a memoir. It's not about me. But what I do use is the experience that our family has, encountered to set the stage for the practices that I share in the book that really, in my view, have universal application to any challenges a person may encounter in life.
Excellent. I thought that was really important to point out. And I encourage everyone to visit Tim's YouTube channel. We're going to put the handle in the feed here on the Clipston Publishing YouTube channel so that you can go over and subscribe to Tim's channel. And I love it because you get the videos with the book and the chapter. I encourage everyone to actually go out and buy 2 or 3 of Tim's books and give them to a friend, because it is universal. And I actually have been using one of Tim's techniques or practices to stay mindful in the moment. It's been helping me in my life. So Tim, before we close, congratulations again on your launch, on the accomplishment of writing a book with Clipston Publishing. I'm curious, what was your experience with Clipston Publishing? How did it go as a writer? You've written a book before, but this is your second book. What's it like?
Well, I've learned a lot, and Tina, who is, manages Clipston Publishing, has been so helpful in terms of, everything from copy editing to teaching me the ropes. And no, Tim, you can't start quoting songs in your book. Songs are intellectual property. I'm a wannabe musician, so I always like to weave songs into my writing. She goes, that may be all right in your blog, but no, we cannot do that in your writing. And so I've learned a lot working with Tina. And what I can say is that I'm a big reader. And I've read a number, obviously, of self-published books, as my first one was. And Tina's books are so professional looking, and which really is important. In fact, I think that this book looks better than some books I've seen published by the major houses. So when she gets done with her typesetting and her copy editing, they are, from what I can tell, error-free, and they look good. So that's the main thing, right?
Yes. Well, we love it, and we know that your book is on the trajectory to be a #1 bestseller. Everyone on the Clipston Publishing team feels that. We're so excited to launch your book. Head over there, buy the book, buy 2 copies, and subscribe. Tim, any closing thoughts before we say goodbye today? Because it's your birthday, and I want to let you celebrate your launch, your birthday, and go give a hug to your son, Daniel.
Well, no, I guess the only thing I would say is that one question might be, what makes this book different? I think, there's books on mindfulness. There's even books on meditation. There's books on joy, happiness, dealing with hard times. But what this book does is it brings the philosophy, the spirituality, and the presence all together into a very, very practical package. It's a short book, 170 pages or something like that, but it brings practices that are directly applicable to someone's life, and that's what excites me, because I've already had friends tell me, where I've released excerpts in my blog, that they're using the practices in their life that were revealed. And so I'm excited to put those in one place and make them available to a broader audience.
Very, very exciting. It's an accomplishment. It's a milestone. So thank you, Tim, for being one of our authors, sharing your story with the world. And you're going into a tough category too, because it's self-help book. It's a lot of different categories going into. So I wish you all the very best. Happy birthday again. Tim, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Barbara. It's been great.
It has been great. And this has been another author conversation with Clipston Publishing. Clipston Publishing is where books truly come to life.